So I think what Mike and Heather have said is very spot on. It's a lot of what we talk about time and time again. And when, EJ asked us to sit on this panel, and EJ, thank you for that opportunity, I asked one question, and I'll ask you that same question, which is, over the course of the last 18 months, what has New York done, specifically what bill has been passed by both houses and signed by the governor that is specifically there to benefit business? Okay, we can sit here all morning and you can noodle this through, and the simple answer is nothing. We have not done anything to really help the regulatory and business climate in New York State. And instead, we've spent a lot of time fighting on issues that are important to the business community, both large and small, and important to taxpayers in New York State. So what are those? Heather mentioned workers' compensation, right? Yes, the governor vetoed an increase from the Compensation Insurance Rating Board, but it's great that you do that, but yet what did you do to fix the workers' comp system from the 2007 reforms that aren't working? Nothing. So this same time next year, we're going to be looking at another increase in workers' comp if we don't fix things. Unemployment insurance, there's a base wage bill out there that we all support. That base wage bill hasn't moved forward. What happens? The employer community the last 2 years have been hit with an assessment to pay more in unemployment insurance. So we're having an issue there. Construction costs, right? We've heard about the thruway toll increase, and they need to increase tolls because the thruway needs to be rebuilt. Ask yourself the question, why then do we continue to see an effort to expand prevailing wage laws? Or why are we continuing to see project labor agreements put in place on our public infrastructure? Those add to the costs of doing business in the state of New York, both to the business community and to taxpayers. Heather mentioned health insurance, right? We have $4 billion in taxes on health insurance in New York State. $4 billion. The number one issue we hear when we talk to employers in this upstate New York, health insurance is becoming too expensive. And yet we sit on $4 billion. Did we see any effort to take any of those off the books? No, we didn't. Instead, what we fought were two bills that would have added to the cost of health insurance. An out-of-network bill that would have established baseline payment for physicians out of network. The bill was put in place to improve transparency, but the only thing it will do is increase cost. We fought a physician collective bargaining bill, allowing physicians to collectively bargain. What would that do to the cost of our health insurance? So I'm taking on the bombastic doom and gloom role that Mike normally plays.
I feel pretty good about myself right now.
So, but the point that all of this takes on is that if New York State does want to be competitive, and if we want to compete not only in a national economy but a global economy, we have to stop advancing bills that will add to the cost of doing business in the state of New York. All right, we're 50th now. Let's hope that Puerto Rico never gets added to this statistic, because if it does, we're going to go backwards to 51. All right, we have to have an elected body and leadership in the governor's office that is willing to say we can't continue down the same path we have been on and hope to create more jobs, put people back to work, and improve our economy. We have to have elected leaders who are willing to take on the tough issues, fight the fights that need to be fought, in order for us to create private sector jobs, put people back to work, and create that cycle that the governor is talking about, which that's how we're going to build our way out of this. It is not about more spending. Spending is out of control. It is not about raising taxes, because taxes are already too high. We all know this. Right? It's the history we've been dealing with for decades. It's time for us to really put the issues on the table and talk about them. It's why we created Let New York Work. Heather, Mike, myself joined education leaders, municipal leaders to put a 6-point plan together to make our communities more affordable. Because the simple fact of the matter is, if we can't lower the burden on our businesses and our taxpayers, they will continue to leave, which those of us that remain will pay a higher tax in order to get the services we want and the education for our kids. We have a stark reality we have to face. We need our elected officials to join us in fighting some of those things that we always fought, and starting to roll back some of the issues that we continue to see that hamper our economy. So thank you.